girls, welcome back to another episode of In My Bedroom, where music dreams begin. I'm so excited for this episode, but before I begin, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you that watched our first video, listened to our first song, subscribed, tapped the bell button, followed us on our socials. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, and I'm so grateful for the community that we are building. So, for today's episode is a really important one for me. I think all the episodes are going to be important to me, but this one specifically is really important because it's been something that's been on my mind for a while that I don't know if we talk about a lot within the music industry, within the creative industries, but it's something that I struggle with, and I know deep down that other musicians struggle with, and something that I also really love and I'm really proud of. I know I'm being really weird with not like giving you the specific topic, but basically today I wanted to talk to you guys about the part of us that still chooses to do music despite how difficult it can be to just exist in this industry. When it comes to being a musician or creator in any sense, there are just so many obstacles that we face, especially at the very beginning of our career. And it can be so discouraging sometimes. There are days that I wake up personally and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Why did I choose to do this? Why am I here? Why am I spending all this money on equipment and like plugins and stuff? But there are other days that like I'm just so proud of the work that I create, and it's that tiny little part of me that still chooses, despite the difficult days, despite the extremely expensive equipment, despite the writer's block, despite the lack of visibility, despite a lot of things, that tiny little part of me that still chooses to wake up every day and do music. That's the part that I'm grateful for. And I think it's really important that we talk about this and we highlight some of the things that we struggle with as upcoming musicians, and people that are just starting out their careers, because it's hard. It's tough. It's tough to be in this industry. It's tough to feel like you don't really have anyone to speak to. It's tough to wake up every day and say, I have no money and I have no proof that this thing that I'm doing is gonna go anywhere, and still wake up to choose to do that. And I just wanted to come on here and like talk about that for a second and just highlight the fact that you're not alone. Like, it is something that I've been struggling with, especially in the last few weeks, like waking up every day and saying, I'm gonna carry on doing this, I'm gonna carry on creating, despite the fact that it's been such a dry season of not knowing what's gonna happen, not knowing when the results are gonna come in and if they're gonna even be good results. But still waking up every day and choosing to do that. And I just really wanted to talk to you guys for a second about some of the things that I struggle with, even though I still choose to get up every day and do this and have this career. Okay, number one, and I think we can all heavily relate to this, being a musician is expensive. It is so expensive. Like, and the thing about us musicians, our equipment, those are our toys. And we like new toys. We like to buy new things. We want to try, and it's not even just we like to buy new things. Like, I like to buy new things. Everyone likes to buy new things. But we also just like to experiment. There are so many plugins, so many software, so many pieces of equipment out there that we just want to play with. We just want to grab, test out, try new things, write new songs, create new sounds. But it's all so expensive. And the fact that it's so expensive means that it can really inhibit our creativity. Like, it means sometimes I personally find that I have to pull so much more out of me because I want to try something new. I already have a creative idea to try something new, and there's this one plugin that I'm like, this would really help, and I think this is really what will make the sound. And that doesn't happen, so then I have to try all these backwards routes and stuff like that, and sometimes we don't end up with the things and the products that we want, and it can be really discouraging. Sometimes even just looking at the prices of things, like, I mean, I know we live in a society that allows us to have so much access, so many different things. I mean, you buy a MacBook, you can have Logic Pro, you can have Final Cut Pro, you can make your own songs, and you can make your own music videos and whatever. But even those are so expensive. Getting a MacBook on its own is one ridiculous expense. And then you go and you look at buying all the softwares and stuff like that. It's really expensive. And we don't all have the opportunity to get these things or afford all these things. Even just creator tools like I content create and like cameras and stuff like that, they're so expensive. And sometimes it can be so discouraging because we want to do these things. We want to create these amazing things. We have all these amazing ideas, and the fact that things are so expensive makes it so difficult for us to execute these ideas that we have, these things that we want to create. As a creator in this day and age, we are very fortunate to have all this high and new technology, high level new technology that enables us to create in a much faster and much more efficient way. It's just that the cost of these things can be really inhibiting. We're not even looking at just paying for equipment or software, stuff like that. We're looking at booking studio time. Like, as a musician, when it comes to releasing music, you're looking at, to release a song and do it properly, you're looking at, okay, you need studio time to create the song. You need somebody to produce it, you need somebody to mix it and master it. And if you're lucky, you can find somebody that can do all three in one, but that might cost you a little bit more than just being able to get someone that can do one. And then there's the music video, and if you're a girl like me, there's the outfits, or if you're somebody that just cares about fashion in general, there's the outfits. Then of course there's the makeup, and then there's so many different moving parts. Then let's not even get into like advertising and pushing and promoting your song. There are just so many different aspects of it that end up costing money, that sometimes when you think about it, you're just like, where do I even begin? Like, how do I even like come up with this amount of money to put this project together? And you start like micromanaging, and it can just be so stressful. And sometimes these things, especially the cost of things, it takes away from the joy of just being able to create and put your stuff out there. Because we live in a world where people want high quality things, they want things that are interesting, they want things that are new, they want like nice, like interesting fashion, you want nice makeup, like everyone. And because a lot of those things are really accessible, a lot of people expect to see that. But it's like, when you sit down and you put all these figures together and stuff like that, this stuff can be really expensive. So then you have musicians or you struggling to just create things and put their music out there, and not just put it out there, because when we create, we put our stuff out there, we want it to be seen and we want it to be heard. So struggling to create and put their stuff out there so that it can be seen and it can be heard. And while on the topic of access and like visibility and all of that, like, we are so fortunate, like so fortunate to live in a world where things are easier to access than maybe they were 10-20 years ago. We have tools like obviously Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, and we have TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and these are really tools that can give us visibility and help us create fan bases and all of that stuff. But sometimes something that I really struggle with is that it is so hard to be seen in this massive pool of content creators and musicians. Like, we live in a world where it's like the dream job now to be a content creator or a musician, and or everyone is just posting stuff, everyone is just putting themselves out there. So it's so much harder to be seen. And as a musician, like, beyond being noticed by music execs, I really want to build a fan base. And sometimes I find it so difficult to build a fan base when people can't see me. because there are so many other people like me at the same level as me creating and putting stuff out there. It does create a good opportunity to create a community of people so you can meet other musicians. I mean, that's something that I've been fortunate enough to do recently, but sometimes it's still really difficult. I mean, for example, I released a song in April, and that's my first like professional official song that I put out there, and I'm so proud of that song. But something that I really struggled with when I released that song was visibility. I got to a point where after pushing the song for like a month before it came out, and then after it came out, I was like, I run out of content ideas. I don't really know how else to push this. It's not like I have stupid amounts of money to really just promote this on social media. So I'm going with what I have, but I just wasn't getting the results that I felt the song deserved, or I felt like I'd worked really hard for. And situations like that can be extremely discouraging because I fell into a headspace of like, okay, well, now I've spent all this money on this song, and like, what is it just not gonna do anything? Is it just not gonna go anywhere? So like when you look at people, when you look at how much it costs to create music, that's one thing that can really set us back or discourage us from even trying to create music and put it out there. And then you look at the visibility, and then you look at the product, and you're like, okay, well, if I spend all this money, then I want it to have good results. And then if it doesn't, then it can be something that's just really upsetting and discouraging and demoralizing. And I know there are people out there that have struggled with this. And please, by all means, if you have any creator tools, ideas, or even just ways of dealing with this stuff, like please comment down below. I for sure I'm gonna comment down below some creator tools that I feel could really help people along their creative journey, especially the things outside of maybe just the music production, and when it comes to like actually releasing music, tools that could help, because that's what I want this space to be. I want this space to be a community where we can have conversation, where it can be a back and forth, and we can help each other. Because for crying out loud, there are just days that I just want to stay in bed and cry, because I'm like, I worked so hard, and like, for what? And I know there are people out there that see it, but like that little thing inside of me where I get up every day and it's like, I'm still gonna do this. I'm still gonna push forward. I'm still gonna fight on. That's the only thing that keeps me going. In the last few weeks, that's the only thing that's been keeping me going. And it's the thing that really made me want to sit down here and talk to you guys, because I'm like, I know you guys struggle with this stuff as well. I know there are so many of you out there that are wondering how to move on. And I'm like, that little part of us that exists that still chooses to do this, despite how difficult it can be, despite the annoying things that we face, it's because we love what we do. We love creating. That's, at least that's the only definition, or that's the only understanding I can come to, because it makes no sense. Like, the logical thing to do is, if this thing is so difficult, don't do it. Like, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Like, leave, go do something else. But that, we love creating music. Like, I don't know about you guys, but that feeling where I finished writing a song and I finished recording all the vocals, and like, I just like mix it just a little bit, just like a rough mix, just to hear what it could possibly sound like. And I'm like, I love this. Like, I created this. Like, this didn't exist up until I made it. And it's a thing that people can listen to and enjoy and experience. Like, that feeling is so precious. And it's the reason why I get up every day and I do what I do, despite how just mentally draining it can be to exist in this industry. And I think the last thing that has really been on my mind, that has really just annoyed the crap out of me, and I know every single one of you feels this: storage. Like, it's not it's not a massive thing, like, in comparison to the visibility and the financial aspect. Like, it's not a massive thing, but storage space is so annoying when it comes to being a musician, when it comes to creating. Like, I cannot tell you the amount of problems I've had because of storage space. Like, just like and just storing things in general. Storage of space and storing things in general. Like, and I know it's happened to some of you. You know when you create a song and then it just disappears? So a little story time. The song that I actually worked on for this episode, I decided to change the BPM of the song. And that meant I had to re-record the vocals. So I was like, I changed the BPM, re-recorded the vocals, and I was really happy with what I came up with. And I swear on my life, I saved it. I swear I saved it. I saved it. I was like, okay, cool, tomorrow I'll come back to tune the vocals. Came back the next day, and it wasn't there. Like, it just wasn't there. And I know you guys are gonna be like, well, are you sure you saved it? I saved it. Like, I am so sure that I saved it. But then it just wasn't there. So there's me sitting down being like, I don't even know where on this disc that I'm gonna find this. Like, even if it still exists somewhere, I don't even know where I'm gonna begin to look on my computer to find it. Because where this thing has magically like stored itself or hidden itself, I have no idea. And the thing is, I'm very organized with the way I store things and I organize things on my computer. So I know exactly where things are and I know where to find them. But you know how logic just sometimes, if you're not careful, might just save something and it'll just go somewhere and then finding it. Like, you know when you look at something, you're like, this can't be happening, like this just isn't real, and you like constantly go at it, you're constantly checking, you're like, no, this has to be somewhere. It just wasn't. And things like that, like storage, it just causes me so many issues. Like, I've cried because of storage. I've cried because the work I've created in the past has just deleted itself or just hasn't been saved. And I know you guys feel this. I know you guys see it. Like, this is just such like a petty little problem, but it's a real, like, I'm sorry, if you create music, you know. If you create content, you know. When you work so hard and you create something and it just disappears, I don't even know if that's worse than the financial aspect or the visibility aspect, because it's like, oh, my hard work. What am I supposed to do with myself now? Like, where am I supposed to go from here? It's so upsetting. And it's one of the biggest things. I think it's one of the things we face more often than the financial aspect or the visibility aspect. Those things I think are bigger things, so you might face them periodically. But when it comes to the storage thing, that's more of a day-to-day issue. That's the day-to-day issue that makes you just be like, I'm about to chuck this computer out of my window because I've had enough. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And it's just little things like that that can really get to us as creators. It's something that I personally really struggle with, because I work really hard, and I'm somebody that I always put 110% into whatever it is that I do. So when I come across these little obstacles, and like, obviously storage is expensive. Whether you're paying for extra storage on any of your Apple devices, whether you're buying an Apple device and with like a lot of storage, or you're buying hard drives or flash drives, whatever it is, storage costs money if you need extra. That also adds to the financial aspect. So sometimes it's just, there are these obstacles that get in the way of creating that sometimes might not always need to be there, sometimes are annoying just because they're there. Like, I understand some things, like I understand the financial aspect of it. I don't agree that you should have to spend that much money just to be able to create music and make it something that people can enjoy. It's something that is of quality, of high quality. But I get it, it's the way it is. But there are just these obstacles that just make us be like, why? I don't want to create anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. But I think we all need to take a second after just enjoying this little rant. I think we all need to just take a step back and actually just be grateful for the part of us that enjoys doing this, because every industry, every career choice has its set of difficulties. But at the end of the day, I think it's really beautiful that we've chosen a career path that allows us to create things that didn't exist before and share that with people. And for me, music is a form of communication. It's not just entertainment. Like, some of my favorite songs, like just the lyrics and listening to it, like, I won't go into it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I think we're very fortunate to be a part of a community where we get to create things for a living. And I think that little part of us, that little fighter spirit that chooses to just keep pushing on despite how difficult it can be sometimes. I think we need to take a little minute to just appreciate that little fighter spirit, because I wouldn't be here without it. Because trust me, getting in my bedroom together was no piece of cake. It was not easy. Every episode is not easy. It proves to be a challenge, and it tests me. Creating this channel has tested me in ways that I never knew I could be tested, and I never wanted to be tested. But that little fighter spirit, that part of me that still chooses to do this, is the reason why I'm here today. It's the reason why songs by our favorite artists exist, because they persevered, we pushed through. That little fighter spirit is there for a reason. Listen to it and just never give up. I know things may be really annoying. I mean, I came on here to talk about things that I really struggle with in general, that I don't really think we ever get time to rant about. It's just like everyone casually brings it up, but to really sit down and be like, yeah, that's annoying, yeah, this pisses me off, yeah, like, why am I still here, why am I still doing this? It might all seem insane, but there's a reason that we're here, there's a reason that we do what we do. And I guess the whole purpose of this video was to come on here and say, yeah, sometimes it sucks, but you chose to do this for a reason. So whatever it is, just don't give up. Now that I have finished ranting, I've gotten it all out of my system, I am going to show you guys the song that I wrote for you for this episode. But this is a song that I really love and I'm really proud of. It's a song about still loving someone, even though you've grown to a point where you know you don't need them, you know they don't necessarily add or won't necessarily add anything to your life, but maybe because of your history with them or just the memories you have, the good ones, there is this part of you that still loves them. And I wrote this song about a year ago, and I wrote it because I was inspired by Sabrina Carpenter's song called Exhale. I just loved the vibe of that song. I loved how simple it was, and I loved the story behind it, and I wanted to write a song that was really meaningful to me. I always try to write from experience or from hope, but everything that I write tends to be very personal to me. So I wrote that song, and the instrumental structure of the song I worked on with my friend Dom. You'll hear Dom say a lot. I worked on with Dom, and I really just wanted a song that had guitar, a song that was sweet and simple, and a song that also had a little string section, because if you don't know this about me, I'm going to tell you now, I'm obsessed with strings. I'm obsessed with violins, violas. I'm obsessed with strings, period. Like, if I could, they would be in all of my songs. So I have a little string section in there, which I absolutely love. And yeah, don't play guitar on it. It's a very special song. I know there'll be people out there that can relate to this song, and I truly hope that you guys enjoy it. So this is the part of me that still loves you. Oh yeah. How did you do it? How did you leave with no warning? 'Cause I gotta admit, it's messing with me, the not knowing. It may have been some time ago, but I find myself wondering how you did it so well that nobody could tell you ever cared for me. I got it all together, no, I don't need you back. I took my time to heal, but still I gotta ask. It isn't 'cause I want you, truly I moved on, but there's one thing I can't cure. It's the part of me that still loves you. It's the only thing that holds on to the present.
person you were, the feelings I had, the everyday and even the sad. That's the part of me that still loves you. So how did you do it? Forget about me and stop calling. Make us a memory, review what's left of it, no pausing. Cause I've been trying to do the same, but I find myself wondering how you did it so well that nobody could tell you ever cared for me. I got it all together, no I don't need you back. I took my time to heal, but still I gotta ask. This isn't cause I want you, truly I moved on. But there's one thing I can't cure, the part of me that still loves you. It's the only thing that holds on to the person you were, the feelings I had, the everyday and even the sad. That's the part of me that still loves you. The part of me that still loves you. It's the only thing that holds on to the person you were, the feelings I had, the everyday and even the sad. That's the part of me that still loves you.
So that was the part of me that still loves you. I wrote that song a year ago and I still love that song. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I absolutely loved writing that song. I loved working on it. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. But before we go, as usual, I have my little inspiration quote for you guys. And this week's quote is by Martin Luther King, and it says, "We must accept finite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope." Now, I hope that inspires you going into your week. Whatever it is you do, whether you're in the creative industries or you're not, I hope that inspires you to understand that life is difficult and you will face disappointment and challenges, but never lose hope and never give up. Yeah, and that is the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that was impactful. I hope a lot of what I said resonated with you. I hope this sparks conversation. I hope we can talk more about this, whether it's in the comments or in future episodes. And thank you guys so much for watching and for being a part of this community. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe and tap that bell button so you know anytime we release a video. And don't forget to follow us on In My Bedroom IG_ and at In My Bedroom TikTok. Thank you guys for watching.